think Halloween is about the coming darkness, and I think the darkness should be there for anybody to walk toward if they want to. But I was a kid in the mid to late 80s, early 90s, and I remember growing up in a time when Halloween had gotten a very dark edge, and it was a little scary. I remember seeing these news reports about Devil's Night. There was a lot of vandalism and arson in the inner city, and seeing those stories on the news, it kind of made things a little scarier when you would go out for Halloween. I remember the rumors about razor blades and candy and the whole stranger poisoning craze. I was in the back seat one year with my mom, and she just smashed every one of my candy bars to make sure there weren't any razor blades. But I think little events like that kind of make the night more special, as crazy as it sounds. Going from college into adulthood, I started watching a lot of horror movies. Anything that would kind of push my limits, and anything I could get a hold of. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Cannibal Holocaust, Funny Games, Martyrs, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Those are all ones that really stuck out and made an impression on me. And every October when fall rolls around, I don't think about football. I think about planning my movie marathon, and I always try to get 3 or 4 movies for every weekend day, and it usually adds up to about 30 or 40 films for the month. And then on the final day, I watch a really long Halloween marathon with Michael Myers, because I think of all the horror films I've seen, John Carpenter's Halloween and Halloween 2 really captured the kind of uncertainty and chaos that I remembered about Halloween as a kid. Michael Myers was known as the Shape in the first film, and he was kind of an embodiment of what could be just around the corner if you were unlucky, and he could be anywhere in the country coming to get you. And I'd like to think eventually in 100 years maybe Michael Myers would be the Santa Claus of Halloween, kind of the reason for the season. And it's so many people's favorite horror film. It's definitely mine. It might even be my favorite film, period. But it kind of pushed me to start collecting really high-end Michael Myers masks a few years back. I didn't want to look like those guys at parties that bought the $5 white mask at the party store. I had to get the right coveralls from the film, the right boots, and kind of diving into that world of indie mask makers. These really high-end latex masks, and the fans has really helped push my Halloween spirit to another level. Usually after the marathon's over, I go out to this local neighborhood in Raleigh called Boylan Heights, where people bring all their kids to trick-or-treat. And I just kind of walk up and down the street, and kids and adults alike will come up, and they'll be scared, but they want to take a picture with me. And people always ask if my knife is real because it kind of shines, but it's not. And I'm always hoping some overzealous mom doesn't call the cops on me one day. But my favorite is always the little kids that kind of come up, and the brave ones that kind of stare at me, and they're not really sure what's going on, but they know something's up. And I'd like to think that I'm giving them that dark part of Halloween that they might have missed out on otherwise, that maybe their parents didn't quite plan out for them. Presenting some of that darkness that they can kind of walk toward if they want to.